In this video, we are going to discuss 7 common mistakes that home buyers make when buying a home. These are not in any particular order, but if you stick around until the end, I'll share with you what I believe is the most important. And we're getting into it right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jimmy Webb Jr. with Dallas, Texas Living. I was born and raised here, and we drop new videos every single week showing you what it's like living in Dallas, Texas. So make sure to subscribe. The next video that we're dropping, by the way, you definitely don't want to miss. So tap the bell so that you're the first to be notified. And as always, if you're thinking about moving to Dallas-Fort Worth, we get tons of people just like you reaching out to us every single day. So if that's you, you can find our contact info in the description. And I look forward to meeting you, shaking your hand, and helping you with your next real estate transaction. Now let's get into the 7 most common mistakes when buying a home. Number 1 is not budgeting correctly. You want to understand all the costs associated with not only buying a home, but of home ownership itself. So let's run down the list. First, the down payment. How much do you plan to put down? And can you get assistance on that? Okay. Then you've got the earnest money and the option money. Okay. Closing costs are going to run you 2 to 3% of the purchase price. Can we get the seller to cover some of that? Maybe the lender can chip in a little bit. Okay. Then you've got insurance, taxes, utilities, turning your house on once you move in. Okay. I'm sure you've heard the saying, you don't want to be house rich, but cash poor. Good rule of thumb is to budget 1% of the purchase price for yearly maintenance, repairs, and major yard work. Okay. You know, there's a saying, once you buy a house, things start breaking. Well, it's true. There are hidden costs sometimes in maintenance and repair. So you need to budget, account, and save for the hidden costs of owning a home. If there are any Game of Thrones fans out there, you've heard the expression, winter is coming. Well, after you buy a house, repairs are coming, and you should expect the unexpected. Speaking of making good financial decisions, the second mistake is trying to time the market. Waiting around, trying to spot the top or the bottom of the market, in my humble opinion, is a fool's game. When we look at the trends, the average appreciation of a home in the United States is around 6% year over year. And like any market, there are spurts and then regressions back to the moving average. But what does this mean for you individually? What I believe is that the right time to buy is when it fits your lifestyle to do so. Okay, if you're only going to be in the home for a year or maybe 3, then it might not make the most sense to buy a home from a financial perspective unless you can find a screamer of a deal, which those do exist, harder to find, but they do exist. But if you're going to be in a home for 5 years or more, the historical trends indicate that it would be a good financial decision to buy a home, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which has performed very favorably in terms of holding its value even during recessionary periods. Hey, do me a favor and tap the thumbs up button if you're enjoying what we're talking about so far. And speaking of expectations, the third mistake is seeing houses before getting pre-approved. When you put in an offer, you have to show that you're pre-approved anyway. So let's knock that out when the time is right, okay? If you're within about 90 days or so of wanting to secure the keys to a new home, let's get pre-approved with a lender who I recommend is local to the area you're buying in and has a great reputation in terms of service and timeliness. Okay, personally, our team won't show homes to anyone who isn't pre-approved. Okay, that is a prerequisite, not only from a time value standpoint, meaning there's no point in going out and touring a home that you find out you can't actually afford. Listen, I'd love to show you $1 million home, but if you don't have $1 million approval, well, that just wouldn't be smart now, would it? Okay, so we want to use our time efficiently, but it's also from a safety standpoint as well. We aren't going to show a home to just anyone off the street, okay? You might be able to find let's say a desperate agent out there who's willing to bypass this step for you. That's fine. Just understand that they'll most likely get dominated in negotiations when they come up against someone like us. Speaking of your new home, the fourth mistake is looking for a unicorn. Okay, let's set yourself up for success from the start here by having proper expectations. The likelihood of finding a home that checks every single box on your wants list is pretty slim. So you have to determine the difference between your wants and what your true needs are. I believe that the most important factors are the layout and the location. The aesthetics, that comes secondary to practicality and functionality because those are an easy fix, all things considered, if you want to do that later. Okay, now every once in a while, there will be a unicorn, but guess what? You won't be the only one who knows about it and who's interested in winning that house. So what do you do then? Well, I tell my clients every time, there's a difference in overbidding and overpaying. Overbidding means that there are different strategies, of course, to pricing a home. So sometimes you will need to offer more than what the seller has it currently priced for, and that's normal. But what we don't want to do is overpay. Overpaying means that you have paid more than what the current market dictates that home is actually worth. This is the purpose of the appraisal. Okay, I take great pride in seeing that my clients have equity as soon as they get the keys. Meaning, let's say we offered $500,000 and the appraisal came back and said, based on the market, the home is worth $510,000. Congratulations, you now have $10,000 worth of equity as soon as you walk in the door for the first time. Speaking of home prices, the fifth mistake is using the listing agent to represent you. Let's say you go to an open house and the smooth talking listing agent says that they can represent you and it'll be a super smooth transaction because, well, they know the seller and they know the house, right? Wrong. The listing agent is contractually obligated to act in the best interest of their client, who happens to be, the seller. So how can they represent both sides fairly? Now, some agents are good talkers and they might say they'll drop their commission to help out, make it a smooth transaction for everybody. Well, what if the house is overpriced by 5%? Are you really saving money in that situation? Remember, this is most likely the largest financial transaction of your life to this point. So wouldn't it be smart to have someone dedicated in your corner fighting tooth and nail to make sure that you don't get one pulled over on you? If something goes wrong, the listing agent will always side with the seller. So it is vitally important to have someone in your corner who is a strong negotiator and will get you the best deal possible. If you're looking in Dallas-Fort Worth, well, you already know one. Myself. I'm pointing to myself. This video is sponsored by the like button, so if you're finding this helpful, do me a favor and tap the thumbs up. Now, the sixth mistake is not being aware of the home buying process timeline. So let's go through it. First step, as we've discussed, is the pre-approval. That can take a couple of days, right? Then you'll shop for a home. That can take at least a couple of days, sometimes months, right? Everybody's situation's a little bit different, and we understand that. Then, once you find a home that you like, you'll put in an offer. Right? Now, hopefully you're working with an agent like me who knows how to get their offer accepted no matter what the circumstances are. But if you aren't, well, you're just back to the shopping stage. Okay? But once your offer is accepted, you now enter the option period where you'll have an inspection done. Okay? And based on the inspection report, not always, but sometimes you'll negotiate some repairs to be done before you move in. Then the ball will essentially be handed over to the lender, who will get the appraisal ordered, handle the underwriting, all the way to getting clear to close. So going from offer accepted to keys in your hand will take a minimum of 3 weeks in most cases. Now, if you're a cash buyer, obviously that's a little bit different and can take just a few days to maybe a week. And if you're going the new construction route, sometimes it takes 3, 6, 9 months or even more for the home to be completed if there's no move-in ready inventory. So you want to account for that as well. The seventh mistake is not asking for help. There are so many variables and so many options on the table to help you save money, but closed mouths don't get fed. The scientific formula for change is awareness, desire, seek, ask, receive, take action, persist, and accountability. Hopefully, I've given you some awareness today. Then you have to have the desire to buy a new home, obviously. Then you have to seek out the information, which you're doing right now by watching this video. And then you got to ask questions and receive the answers to those questions and take action on those answers. So get with your agent and your lender who do this every single day and are up to speed on the latest information about maybe it's credit repair that you need. Maybe you just need access to the incentive programs that can help you save money on your down payment or maybe the closing costs. Maybe you need help just understanding a piece of the home buying process. Well, we are here to help you, but we can't help if you don't ask. All right, in the beginning, I told you I'd share the most important mistake to avoid. And I believe the most important thing is connecting with a great team who will help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Shameless plug, I believe we are the best in the world when it comes to helping families buy, sell, or invest in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here in Texas. So reach out if you're in the market. Our contact info is in the description below. Now, before you go, let me know in the comments, what do you think is the most important mistake to avoid? Make sure you subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you around town.